And away we go.
All right. So, how's your day going so far?
Alright, I guess.
Yeah, same here. So, let's get right into the news.
Indeed we shall.
All right. So, what is up on the list of things that we should report about?
Yesterday, there's this video that I posted, found it on Instagram, and it's quite questionable.
What is questionable about it?
Like, why is it up for public viewing?
You know what? There's a lot of things on Instagram that is questionable. Why is anything up for public viewing, really? There are certain things that should be kept to yourselves, and there are certain things that should be shared. That video was one of those things that should be kept to another person's self or whoever decides to film it. Let's say, but for the viewing audience, what did this video contain that you believe was inappropriate for Instagram's guidelines and just inappropriate in general?
Alright, so there was this automotive vehicle driving down the road, and it was pulling, I'm not sure if I call it a platform, but it's a platform that you can stand on, and on this platform, there is a bed. And on that bed, there's a man and a woman, and that is, yeah,
There was a man and a woman pretty much doing what two men and women should be doing within the confounds of a bedroom
exactly.
with cameras.
That should not be the case.
So, the real question is, what were they doing that for? Were they doing that for some OnlyFans video? Like, what were they, and why was it in public?
Well, I think it was to shoot something. Not sure what it's for. Maybe OnlyFans, maybe could be a music video, and who knows?
For their sake, actually, it'd be terrible if it was for a movie. But for their sake, I'm hoping it was just for a R-rated movie or something. But actually, no, that'd be terrible.
Yeah.
That'd still be equally as bad. But okay, yeah, for their sake, I'm hoping it was just for a music video.
I
Because
do too.
I don't really know what that was. I don't know. I really don't know what that was or what that could have been. But let's just hope it's not for OnlyFans or an R-rated movie where sexual content is shown, like we've seen before. But well, not seen, but you know what I mean. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's like let's just. It would just be better that way if it was just for a music video. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. So, I mean, everyone is, yeah. I mean, it makes you, I wouldn't be, I'm not gonna lie. I just would not be surprised if there was something like that happening in New York. I'm actually surprised it's not happening in New York. I'm actually surprised it didn't happen in California first, or any
Yeah.
of the, or like any like state in the United States. But who knows? After that video, something like that may happen. Shoot, Bonnie Blue. I don't want to give her any ideas, but Bonnie Blue might do something with that idea.
Very interesting.
Yeah, that's very depressing. That's very depressing. That's a very depressing thought. Lily Phillips might do something with that idea. Very, very depressing. Literally, all these girls might do something with that idea. I still don't know how they're proud of themselves, but it's their choice, and they're choosing to live with it. Make money now and regret that decision later.
Exactly.
Well, shoot, they're almost 30, or at least Bonnie Blue's almost 30. So I mean, you can kind of already see her. You can kind of already see like herself aging. I don't know. You can kind of see it, but it's whatever. Anyways, yeah. Back to this. Back to what was transpiring in that bed.
Yes.
Inappropriate. Terrible. Could have been kids around. That's terrible.
So sad.
It really is. Anyways, let's move on. What else is in the news?
Colombian influencer puts the pizzazz into recycling.
How do you put the pizzazz into recycling? I wonder. How?
Colombian influencer Sarah Samaniego, that's literally her name, Samaniego, braids her long, straight hair, checks her makeup in a mirror, places her phone in the center of a ring light and flashes a big smile for the camera.
I'm sorry, she flushes a big smile for the recycling. What does that have to do with recycling? What does that have to do with recycling? Okay, is there more?
Well, I tried to look at a specific article that reads on this, but all I'm getting is 5-1, unable due to legal reasons.
Legal reasons.
What is this going on?
Oh, legal reasons. Okay, so
Legal reasons, okay.
we're talking about a Brazilian model who's putting the pizzazz in recycling by, like, making herself look good with makeup, with a smile, with doing her hair. What does this have to do with recycling? What is she
Well,
recycling?
well, actually, she's Colombian, but yeah, that does make a good point. I don't I get it either.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
oh yeah, Colombian. But yeah, still. I have no idea.
Colombians how to sort their waste says to greet 500,000 Instagram followers.
What does that have to do with recycling?
So
Wait, so her way of recycling is wearing farmer's clothes?
well, that's one part of it. Blue overalls and a baseball cap backwards as part of her Mars the Recycler social media alter ego has also become an unofficial spokeswoman for the 74,000 people who rummage through the garbage of Latin America's fourth biggest economy every day.
Do you know what she's doing to recycle?
Well, I'm not too sure. There's not much that's getting me any hints at the moment.
There's not really much that's giving me any hints either. I mean, she puts on blue overalls with a backwards hat.
And she's having this persona as like, hey guys, recycling's cool. That's all I'm getting at the
What
moment.
are you recycling? Like, I'll be honest. If she would have said that, like, she was using like an old cup to hold her phone, then maybe I would have said, okay, at least she's doing a little bit of something. But come on now, that's not recycling. That's just you wearing cheap clothes.
Yeah, just putting up a character that is all for recycling.
Like, I
That's
don't
all
know.
I'm getting at the moment.
Exactly. That's what I'm getting to. Like, bro, just, I don't know, use a water bottle. Do something, man. Like that. Like, you can just cut into anything and, like, I don't know, use it. Use 2 cups as a phone if you have to. Like, something. I mean, that would have been something. I mean, that's it's cartoonic. It's a bit cartoonish, but still, that's something. That is something. I mean, I don't see what she's doing that's helping the environment. I mean, if maybe if she said, "I'm using an old comb that I found in a garbage can," then that would have been something. I don't know. Like, that wouldn't have been much, but it would have been something. Like, I thought she was, like, using old. I thought she could have possibly just been using old stuff to style her hair and do her makeup. Obviously clean them off, but that would have been a little bit of something, even if it's not much. It would have been a little bit of something. I
Yeah.
mean, but she's not doing much actually. She's just wearing old clothes and saying, "Hey, recycling is cool." What are you recycling?
Well, many things, such as well, it's not just recycling. There's many things like instead they rely on informal waste pickers to go through bins and garbage left out for collection to salvage cardboard, glass, plastic, and other reusable materials.
You know what? Okay, I'll give her. I'm going to give her that, and we're going to.
Yes.
Yeah. You know what? We'll give her that. I mean,
Yeah, that's the answer I was looking for.
okay.
It makes sense now.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. I don't know why they said I don't know why they had to add that she was wearing overalls and a backwards cap, but yeah, that I guess what you said there makes sense.
Yeah.
But
But like
oh,
the first few. just the opening. It was going nowhere. Absolutely nowhere.
Yeah, we had to look for that article.
Yes, but we got there in the end.
Yep, we did. So, what else is in the news?
Kenya hosts Dutch royals as allegations of rights abuse mount in the East African nation.
In the East African nation, is there more in the story?
Yes, Kenya is hosting the Dutch king and queen as allegations on human rights abuse are mounting in the East African country, with Kenyans writing hundreds of emails and petitioning the royals to cancel their visit.
You know, there's a man that used to be president. He's from Kenya.
Oh
That's all.
yeah.
That's all I have to say about that. As for the Kenyans, well, I'll say like I obviously hope that they're doing well, and obviously whatever is going on there, it can get resolved in the end. But also, yeah, a certain president was from Kenya, but they choose to they don't acknowledge that. But that's it. But that's all I got to say about that. What are your thoughts?
Well, only time will tell. But from what hearing about human rights abuse, like I know something is just doesn't sound right. I know that has been an issue in Africa for many years, and it's sad to hear that it's still going on today. But hopefully, someday, a solution comes around and people in Africa can live their lives as freely as they like.
Yeah, I mean, I just hope that it all gets resolved in the end, and everyone is able to just live the way that they want to live, without without their rights being abused as far as they go. That's what I hope. But is there anything else in the news?
Israel's Netanyahu says Gaza airstrikes are quote-unquote only the beginning and quote-unquote necessary condition for freeing hostages.
Jeez. What are your thoughts on this war currently?
It shouldn't have happened to begin with. As
Yeah,
complicated the history is, and we have no idea or be able to comprehendly understand what goes on between the two sides, that does not mean that the fighting should continue. People's lives are being lost. People are being held hostage for ransom. Not sure what kind of ransom, but people are still being hostage anyway. I'm done hearing about this. Now, there may not be a solution anytime soon, or maybe in the next few years, but I'm just done hearing about this, and what people are going through right now is absolutely awful. And I think no matter which side people stand on in this conflict, they can all agree that we don't want this happening. It shouldn't have happened to begin with. We want a solution that ends the violence and all the chaos, and we can all live our lives as peacefully as possible.
yeah, I 100% agree. None of this should have ever happened. In fact, all of this could have easily been avoided. But hey, it is what it is, man.
And
And
it was what it was.
exactly. And yeah, now that it's happening, they just have to resolve it. They just have to come together with an agreement of some sort. And they just have to end this like adults. But they're not going to end it like adults. It's going to prolong. I can see this prolonging for 10, and I can see this I can see this staying a thing for 10 years, for like 10 years of our lives. Hearing about this, be like, and be like, oh yeah, I remember when they first started talking about this nonsense, and it just isn't. It's just nonsense. I mean, for the most part, it's unfortunate nonsense, but it's nonsense. So I will say this for the most part. I just want this to end. I just want this to end. Frankly, we'll still report on it, but it's getting tiresome talking about it.
Yes, it sure is.
Yeah, yeah, and hold on, sorry. Anyways, yeah, it's just tiresome talking about it, and it's like it's just just you know.
Just look, look, just stop. As long as the conflict's been going on and the history behind it, it doesn't mean you should continue. How is anyone any better than those in the past that kept the fighting going at all up until now?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But hey, they'll figure it out in the end, somewhere.
Eventually.
Eventually. Eventually. But
Yes.
is there anything else in the news?
Paris police evict around 200 migrants from theater.
200 migrants from a theater? Why were there
Yes.
200 migrants in a theater?
Who knows? French police evacuated around 200 young migrants from the Git Lyrique Theatre in Paris on March 18th, 2025, where they had been occupying since December 10th, 2024, demanding food and shelter.
Demanding food and shelter.
That's all they asked for.
That's all they asked for, huh?
Yep.
Why are they here? Or there, at least.
Well, I think I heard something like this before, and I think I can remember brief details of it, but not exactly. I think it's something along the lines of the people running the theater wanting to invite the immigrants to watch a show, and then once the show ended, the migrants that came to watch had refused to leave the theater since the show ended. And I think as of this report, I think after so long, I think the migrants have now left the theatre after being invited by the people that work in the theatre to watch a show that they have put on for them.
Okay, first off, I invite you to a show. What gives you the right to have the refuse to leave?
Good question.
And second, why are you inviting migrants to a show? Did they get in for free?
I suspect that the migrants got in for free.
And second, why is France inviting migrants into a movie theater potentially, and I say potentially because I'm not sure, for free? Why?
That is quite the mystery.
What kind of business business move is that?
I don't think it's business at all. It's just act of genuine.
Okay, I will say that. Okay, I'm going to say this. So I act generous toward you, yet you refuse to leave my movie theater because you don't. I'm assuming it's because they don't have a home or something like that.
Yeah, it's like this is a great theatre. Why do we want to leave? We can seek refuge in here. And I mean, I don't blame them. I would want to seek refuge in a theatre too, because theatres in Paris, especially at the time they were built, is actually pretty nice.
Huh? I wouldn't know. I really wouldn't know. How are they nice? Like what do they have exactly?
I'm talking about the theatre, not the migrants.
Oh no, yeah, that's what I meant.
Like the architecture, and this is just me because I'm the kind of guy that likes uh, classical architecture. A place like a classical theatre is a place that I would like to live in someday. Although, of course, there'll be rooms facilitated for living, like a living room, a kitchen, a couple of bedrooms, etc. But that's
Huh?
just me. That's the
Oh,
kind of place I want to live in.
okay. So wait, okay. So like you'd want to live in like a literal classical theater like house.
Yes, or at least a house that's built at a time where classical architecture was the norm.
Ah, got you. Sounds nice. It really does sound like a nice thing to aspire to do or live in. That sounds nice. That I'm not gonna lie, that sounds really nice.
Yeah,
And hey, I say like that's probably why they want to stay. Although it's a movie theater, so honestly, it's a movie theater. Couldn't I mean? I'm just saying, man. It couldn't be that nice. The air conditioner was probably on. They weren't they like cold or something?
who knows? It's been a
But
while, but there has to be some kind of ventilation and air conditioning somewhere.
yeah, you're right. There probably has to be. But yeah, there probably has to be. But it is what it is. But anyways, what else in the news?
Let's see. FDA staff returned to crowded offices, broken equipment, and missing chairs.
Hmm. Sick. Do tell more.
Federal government employees reported chaotic conditions upon returning to the office, including cockroach infestations and a lack of desks and chairs.
Hmm. Cockroach infest. That's disgusting. Cockroach infestations.
Oh yes,
That is terrible.
it sure is.
Hmm. Wow, that's honestly very unfortunate. I mean, why were the things miss? Why were the chairs missing? That's what
No,
I'm wondering.
that's a very good question. There's other descriptions, but it doesn't answer the question about the missing furniture.
Interesting. Very honestly, very interesting. Huh?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's something that we should probably maybe that's something we should probably pay attention to and keep keep an eye on. I mean, because this does sound like an interesting news. This does sound like something interesting to report on. But in other news, Hunter Biden whistleblowers promoted at IRS. Huh. The Treasury Department has promoted two IRS whistleblowers who accuse the Justice Department under President Joe Biden of granting his son Hunter Biden special treatment during a year-long probe into his tax affairs. Interesting. So the guy who had relations with, I'll be honest, I was it his daughter? Yeah, his daughter, right?
possibly. Yeah.
Or took a shower with it. I'm not really sure. I don't
Oh
keep up.
yeah, yeah. Okay, now it's coming back to me. Yeah, that was definitely then.
Yeah. Definitely. Okay. Who took a shower with his daughter. He's back in the news again. I'll be honest, what does he even do? What does Hunter Biden even do?
I can't remember anymore.
Oh,
There's so much going on in the Biden family that I've just lost track of what was in the past up until now, and even then, I think many people have lived past it now.
that's true. I mean, no one really even cares. And the people who do care is not that many. I mean, because I don't know. It's like, it just seems like he's in the news and he pops in the news and he pops out of the news. It's just in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. So it's like, it's just, I don't know. It's hard to really just fully care. I mean, obviously what he did was bad. Obviously what he did was bad, but it's like, most people just seem to not care about about what he did after like a couple of days. I mean, well, guys, I believe guys other than Risk, who cares clearly, like most people just seem to have a very short attention span and just not really care. Me, I'll be honest, it's hard to care about certain things when it's not being taken care of, or when there's clearly not going to be any justice served in that matter. So it's hard to really care. Not because it's not important, but it's like if it's not going to be taken care of in any way, shape, or form, if the person is not going to be behind bars or anything like that, then it's hard to care. Especially if nothing is getting done. What do you think?
I agree. There's nothing else going on, or could it be argued about?
That's true. But is there anything else in the news?
A French parliament member is demanding that the United States return the Statue of Liberty.
Return the Statue of Liberty. Did we steal that from them?
Well, actually, it was a gift from France.
You know what? I mean, I mean, I really don't care I really don't care that much about the Statue of Liberty. So like, they can, if they want, they can have it. I don't care. A gift from, I didn't even know it was a gift from France. I'm going to be honest with you. Why are they asking for their Statue of Liberty back?
Well, they said that they have lost. They've said that the United States have lost its way and no longer stand for what the iconic sculpture represents.
You know what? I really don't really, I personally don't care if they take it. I mean, obviously it's an important landmark in our country, but I've even heard some conspiracy theories that Statue of Liberty is actually a dude, but that's neither here nor there. Or I'll be honest, I heard some conspiracy theories that it was either a dude or some false god. I can't really remember. So if they want the Statue of Liberty, they can have it. I don't care. I really don't care. Not because I don't care about the country. I just don't care if they take it. I mean, obviously, we're not going to give up the Statue of Liberty. That's clear. It's clear as day. I mean, if they want it, they're going to have to fight us for it. But I personally don't care if they take it. Take it. I don't care. I really don't. But why did they gift that to us, though?
Well, at the time, relations between the US and France were pretty good, especially since France did help the United States gain its independence from the British Empire, and it just stuck ever since.
But now they want it back.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I don't care if they take it. I really don't. I mean, like, bro, we have other things that, like, make the United States the United States. I mean, so pretty much them taking our Statue of Liberty will not, I just don't care. Obviously it's not my decision to make, but, obviously we're not going to give it up without a fight because it's been here for so long. So therefore it's part of the United States. So, obviously, whatever Trump is going to do, he'll do. He won't give it up without a fight. There are just certain things that make the United States the United States. And the Statue of Liberty is one of those things. Shoot. I remember going on a boat one time when I was younger and seeing the Statue of Liberty. Not up close, just on a boat. But, hey, we're not going to give it up. That's all I'm going to say. We're not giving it up.
So
But,
true.
yeah, what do you think?
Well, whatever happens, just go with it and just continue with life.
That's true. Because at the end of the day, I mean, as long as it doesn't affect us, it doesn't affect us. I mean, that's really all I can say about that. Okay. But, is there anything else in the news?
French Bulldog is still top US breed, but is another gaining momentum.
Interesting. French Bulldog is still the top U.S. breed.
Uh-huh.
Interesting. I didn't know that. But what is the other one that is gaining more momentum?
Let's see. Gina DiNardo of the American Kennel Club describes the Cane Corso as fabulous companions and highlights their protective nature. So, I'm guessing the Cane Corso is the one that's on the rise.
Well, I mean, I have 3 mixed breeds of dogs, so I don't have any of those. I have half poodles, half Pomeranians, and half with 2 puppies mixed with another breed. But but
Yes.
hey,
Yeah.
those are my breeds that I'm dealing with. So I mean, I don't think the Bulldog is really gonna not be popular. I personally, I'm not surprised that the Bulldog is popular within the United States, but I just did not really. I guess I just was. I'm not surprised, but at the same time, I didn't know it was the most popular one. So I mean, hey, see where this. We're just gonna see where this goes. I don't think the Bulldog is not gonna be popular, but yeah. Is there anything else in the news?
Mass poisoning suspected as hundreds of birds fall from trees in Australia.
Hundreds of birds fall from trees in Australia. Wow. Okay. Is there more on this?
Yes, hundreds of corellas have been discovered either dead or in a critical state in New South Wales, Australia, in what is suspected to be a mass poisoning.
Wow, that is crazy.
It's just wild, yes.
I mean, the birds are already poisoned, so they're dead. So that's unfortunate.
Oh, yes.
And yeah, I mean, I hope they get that resolved quickly.
Same.
But yeah, rest in peace to those birds.
Yes, they'll go somewhere nice.
Yeah, definitely. I do think not gonna lie. I think the only species. I think all animals do go to heaven, and obviously, yeah. So all those birds are definitely flying up in the air somewhere. They're definitely somewhere. There's definitely somewhere nicer. But hey, wow, they should get that. They should get that resolved. So I mean, no more animals die. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Hey, but what else is corrupting our? No, I'm never saying that again. Okay, what else in the news?
12 dead, including musician after plane crash in Honduras.
Oh wow, what else? Is there more?
Yes, at least 12 people have died after a plane operated by Honduran airline Lan- Lanza crashed into the sea off Rotan's coast on Monday evening.
Oh wow, that's very unfortunate for those. You said 12 people.
Yes, 12 people.
Wow, that is. Why are you said in a plane crash too?
Yes, it was a plane crash in Honduras.
Wow, there was a lot of. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of plane crashes lately. I'm probably never gonna go on a plane. I'm gonna be honest. Not because of that, just in general. But that's part of it, though.
Yeah.
They really gotta get that stuff resolved. There's just a lot of people dying in plane crashes nowadays. I don't know why. Planes used to be safe, mostly safe for the most part. Now they're just randomly crashing. I don't know, man. I feel like if I ever go on a plane, I'd have to bring a parachute on the plane with me just in case stuff gets serious. I'm jumping out of the plane myself.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, like I feel bad for anyone who is on the plane, but like, bro, I'm jumping off the plane. I mean, if I'm going to Hawaii and the plane like crashes, I'm jumping off the plane. I have a backpack. I have the parachute. I can buy new clothes, but I can't buy a new life. I can buy new things. I can't buy a new life. So I'm personally jumping out of the plane. So but I hope my condolences are to those people. I hope they're in a better place. I really do. And yeah, I mean that's just very unfortunate. But is there anything else in the news?
Key Erdogan rival's diploma is revoked in a move that blocks him from Turkey's election.
Wow, blocking from Turkey's election. Why is he? Is there any news on why he is blocked from the Turkey from?
A university invalidated the diploma of Istanbul Mayor Ekrem İmamoğlu on Tuesday, in a move widely perceived as politically motivated to block the popular opposition figure and President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's key rival from running in the next presidential race.
Wow, I wonder why they would want him to not run in the next presidential race.
Well, maybe his popularity could get to a point that maybe majority of Turkish people might possibly vote for him. In fact, more so to get a clear majority a clear vote majority when to the point he is the next president of Turkey.
I wonder what makes him so dangerous to the point where it's like they don't want him to be the president for Turkey.
Yeah,
So pretty much he's their version of a 2016 Donald Trump, whereas like pretty much he's the underdog and they're trying to stop him from running kinda.
kind of, yes.
Okay, yeah, I say kinda because I don't know. I mean Trump. I mean, I I don't know if in 2016 people were trying to block Trump from running. People just didn't think Trump would win. That's the only thing. So I mean, they're actively blocking this man from trying to run. What? Hey, if his fan base is strong enough, then he will prevail even in uncertainty.
Exactly. Anything is possible.
Anything is possible. So, hey, it is what it is.
It was what it was.
Exactly. But hey, at the end of the day, obviously, if first off, do we know the guy's name?
The opposition leader.
Yes.
His name is Ekrem İmamoğlu.
Okay, and the article does not really say what his ideas are.
It doesn't discuss the political views of Ekrem. It's just that there was a move made by the university he studied at for his diploma to be revoked.
Bro, what? The
Uh,
university is revoking his diploma. You're telling me I went to your college for years on end just to get this diploma, and then you're gonna revoke it?
yeah,
I put blood, sweat, and tears into your school, and you're just going to revoke my diploma as if I didn't work hard for that. It's messed up. That is messed up. Wow, that is terrible. They really must not like this guy. They probably didn't. This man must be dangerous in some way, shape, or form.
yes.
Has to be. I mean, I don't know why they're trying to like mess him up or
Well,
separate.
after winning the last three fiercely fought local elections for Turkey's largest city, his opposition, Republican People's Party (CHP), overturning districts traditionally held by the ruling party, the party that Erdogan is part of, in the latest 20 race.
Interesting.
Yeah, so we could see a change, but we shouldn't jump to conclusions yet because anything can happen. It could be the same old for the next few years.
That's true. That is 100% true. So we're just gonna wait and see what happens, and if this guy actually if this guy actually becomes president.
Yes.
All right. So what else is in the news?
Australia raises concerns with China over letters targeting Hong Kong dis- dissident in Australia.
I'm sorry. Say that one more time.
Australia raises concerns with China over letters targeting Hong Kong dissident in Australia.
Hmm. Interesting. Wow. Is there more in the news?
Australia's Foreign Minister Penny Wong raised concerns with China about anonymous letters offering 1 million Hong Kong dollars for information on Kevin Yam, a pro-democracy activist targeted by Hong Kong authorities.
Kevin Yang.
Yes, Kevin Yam.
Things are getting interesting.
What is?
Alberta might be the 51st state soon.
Okay.
There's people in
Is there more
Canada
to
that
this?
are pledging loyalty to Trump that want to be the first state. Big people. And if Alberta joins, Saskatchewan joins, we might actually see a united North America.
Maybe.
Quebec and Ontario will probably stay. Quebec will probably stay independent, probably. They'll probably Quebec will probably stay independent. Will want to go independent, and if they do, they'll probably take the liberal parts of Canada with them. And the plus think we might actually get a united Anglo-sphere country at some point in time. Cannot wait.
Oh boy, it's gonna get interesting.
A
Very interesting.
united North America.
It's a start, but it's a very long way to go. It's gonna take a couple more decades, but it's a start, at least.
Yes, Alberta.
A new deal will increase amount of liquefied natural gas delivered to Puerto Rico in face of outages.
If Alberta leaves Canada, I will not recover. I will spend the rest of my life trying to flip Yukon to join it. This guy says, be interesting. So what
It
else is
is.
it?
A new partnership between U.S. maritime company Crowley and Spain-based Naturgy Energy Group announced Tuesday is expected to increase the amount of liquefied natural gas shipped to Puerto Rico as it struggles with chronic power outages.
You'd think America would be able to sort that out. They've got oil and gas. But the zoo, I'm surprised they're not sending the Texas tankers over to Puerto Rico. Oh yeah, one of Nigel Farage's biggest billionaire donors, right? He's a WEF member.
What's up?
One of Nigel Farage's big backers is a WEF member.
Okay. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
still hear you.
Okay,
Doesn't
cool.
surprise me, but yeah, we don't care about it.
Yeah, a lot of things don't really surprise me nowadays. I mean, these guys are controlled opposition, so,
Everybody's controlled opposition. Just fun to watch.
It's all an act for our amusement.
Yes, we get to watch the show.
Oh yes,
yeah.
absolutely, exactly.
It's just
And
fun. I
I'm
like to
next.
piss about, but I like to piss about and pick a side. But I know for a fact nothing's going to change.
I mean, yeah.
Your
That's
vote doesn't. Your vote doesn't matter. The only thing will change. The only thing that will change is basically people rising up, and that it might still happen. But even then, you'll probably be tricked and manipulated by an actor.
like Trump.
No, I suppose you could say the same thing as what happened with George Washington. Wasn't he just an actor in the grand scheme of things?
I wonder if Abraham Lincoln was an actor, or was he, or was. I mean, I feel like some of these guys were genuine, though. Some.
Some might have been genuine on the inside with some of the things they said, but they still probably followed a motto. Like at some points, wasn't Lincoln at certain points trying to push legislation that the courts would not pass? But he basically said, "To down with the courts. I don't care what their answers are." At some points, and that was during the Civil. I think that was during the Civil War, or after the Civil War, before the Civil War.
I'm not really sure.
I'm pretty sure it was something to do with him in the courts, where he was basically using the act of war to basically pass through certain things you would never be normally able to pass. He was using the instance, the fact that he was using the same trick as like what Zelensky's doing, enacting certain legislation that you wish you could pass in peace times, but you can't because you physically would not be able to. So what else is there?
Multiple Teslas found vandalized at S15's dealership.
Well, best believe that you're probably going to be. They'll be whoever did that is going to be arrested because I can guarantee you, there's nothing more fucking. There's nothing more secure than Teslas with in Sentry mode camera. They've got better freaking cameras than most police.
Yeah.
Finland was supposedly never denazified. Never forget what these demons did to the people of Leningrad. Do you think the Nazis ever died out? Or do you think they just rebranded?
Well, there are many ways to look at this.
Because some people say that the Nazis are the new Nazis or the Nazis effectively just grew and became the EU. Saying that some countries never went through the denazification, they just modernized. And they just changed their face and mask. Titanic sunk in 1912, Federal Reserves created in 1913. So what else is there?
Billionaire climate activist Mike Cannon Brooks defend Formula One sponsorship, private jet use.
Not gonna lie, we've been talking about activists a lot.
There aren't many activists. There's a lot of activists in the freaking courts. A lot of activists in the country. A lot of activists in fucking journals. There's this guy, I can't remember what his name is. I think he's the guy of activism. I think he was a co-founder of Activision Blizzard, or a person very high up in Activision Blizzard. Probably no longer works for the company, but yeah, he's basically suing this company for basically slander, for pure and utter slander. Like the guy, I don't know. This journal, I can't remember. Yeah, I think it was Kotaku or something like that. Like they were like slamming this guy, making allegations against this guy that completely were probably not actually true, and simply hoping to the point where they're not going to get sued into oblivion. And there are news outlets like that are freaking heinous. Like to a certain extent, even Trump's had to deal with them brutally. That's why they call them the fake news.
Hey, the fake news doesn't sound as cool as it did before. I'm gonna be
No, it
honest.
doesn't.
It's lost. It's lost. Lost is as most people would say, aura. It's lost its aura, as people would say nowadays. Which, by the way, is an overused. By the way, it's still a great word, but it's an overused one.
Mark Carney, we don't need another country to validate our sovereignty. We are sovereign. You're not fucking sovereign. You're a fucking You're a fucking. Me. These idiots actually think they're a sovereign country. They're not a sovereign country. You're still beholden to Britain. How can you be a sovereign country if you worship the fucking Queen or the King, the British King?
A lot of its culture and governance is inspired by the British.
Exactly. How can you be a fucking country if you still have the British King as your monarch? Fucking get a grip, you freaking low-living Canadians. Same with Australia. Like, you're not a fucking country. You're a self-determining nation that has some local autonomy. On the global stage, you still follow America and Britain's thumb.
Hey.
Mostly Britain's thumb. As much as America wants to say it has diplomatic, it basically controls its own diplomat, it controls its national. All of these nations follow the same fucking tune. Especially all the English, the British colonies. Some tend to flip the line and act like a bunch of dicks sometimes, but in the grand scheme of things, they all follow the same freaking line. The same cue. It's funny how these people say, oh, they're an independent country. Canada's not an independent country. They haven't. They still have a king.
They do?
Yeah.
Yes, King Charles is Canada's head of state.
How can you be a free sovereign nation if you have King Charles as your monarch?
I'm not gonna
How
lie.
can you be a free sovereign nation if you're still part of the fucking British Commonwealth? Don't kid yourself.
I'm not gonna lie. This is unrelated, but you know what's an interesting topic to look up sometimes?
What?
If you know, dead like historical figures have living descendants today, that's definitely an interesting. That's definitely sometimes interesting to look up. I don't know if dead historical figures still have living descendants. Some of them don't. Some of them do. It's interesting.
Yes, says the unelected man. He runs to Europe to plan the sovereign nation of Canada joining the scourge of the EU. Another unelected body of globalists looks to enslave us. This man needs to call an election. He has zero mandate and does not even hold a seat in Parliament. That is how fucked Canada is, right? Does not own a seat in Parliament.
How?
Definition of unelected. And they
Also,
haven't rioted yet. They instilled him. His own party instilled him. Doesn't even have a fucking vote. How the hell is that fucking legal to begin with? Who knows?
who knows?
How can you be instilled the head, the leader of a country if you're not even elected to a parliament? Elected to parliament. At some point, when do you just admit that he's king? Because that's getting into king-like territory in Canada.
They still have the illusion of democracy.
How do you have the illusion of democracy if you've been instilled guy as president?
Again, it's an illusion. I'm not saying it's true. It's just people believe that living in a democracy, you can have the choice to vote in whoever you like, even if
It's
it means
deluded. Yeah, he's right. It's deluded.
switching party leaders to be the next leader of a country.
Problem, Mr. Carney, is that Canada should have been developed decades ago. Britain would never have liked that. Neither would America. You think America would allow a secondary superpower near their fucking doorstep? Please. That's rookie time. They kicked Britain out of America because they were that They kicked Britain out of America because they were scared. They never won any wars. Britain just left all it alone. Britain didn't leave Canada willingly. I fear that they were kicked out. Not by Canada, but probably America. But it is what it is, and it was what it was.
And somehow, here we are. Germany passes historic defense hike after years of pressure from Trump.
What are you saying?
Germany's parliament passed a landmark defense spending increase, driven by Chancellor-in-Waiting Friedrich Merz. The legislation aims to reshape Europe's security landscape and alleviate concerns about US reliability as a security partner.
I don't exactly want Germany rearming. I want them poor. I want Britain rearming. I want us to be a fucking number one superpower again. I want us to enslave Europe. I want us to have Europe in our fucking fam. Let those Germans and French make us money. Let's bring our grip on that fucking continent again.
I think someone is bound to rebel if you were to enslave them.
Not enslave, but I mean, we should take them. It's either the option of literally. The country is too small, right? Britain's too small. We either expand and get bigger, or we join America.
So yeah, I mean those are the only two options.
I think the country should get bigger, and I personally believe that they're looking. The thing is, with America leaving, right? This gives Britain an opportunity to rearm and become the number one superpower, or the number two, the biggest thing. We already are the biggest one, apart compared because let's be real here, Russia is more Asian than freaking European.
More Asian.
Yeah, we see the landmass. They're basically an Asian country, cross-continental.
Yeah, very true.
Biggest superpower in Europe.
Is there
AI
speaking of which, is there such thing as like an Asian Russian?
Yes.
Okay, that's all I want to know. A Black Russian?
No, probably not Black Russians.
Okay, yeah.
As much as they want to fucking say that, as much as they tried to pick that in the fucking Catherine the Great TV show, I doubt that's in reality. So that makes me quite happy.
What does?
The Britain is number one. Who do you think's the number one superpower in Europe?
So Germany?
Supposedly us.
Oh, that was my next guess.
5th gen cruise missile. Britain. Advanced AT-AT. Estonia. Europe.
AI matching human intelligence 5 to 10 years away. DeepMind CEO Demis Hassabis predicts the emergence of artificial general intelligence, AGI, within the next 5 to 10 years, followed by artificial super intelligence. Dang. That's crazy.
Yeah, crazy stuff.
Dang. It's artificial super intelligence. I wonder what that could look like.
Total population 68 million. We're now at 70. Jimmy, you're gonna fucking piss yourself laughing. They think the available manpower is 31 million.
What?
They think that many people's gonna fight for them.
31 million?
Available manpower 31,491,165. Not a fucking flying chance. Fit for service, 25 million. Yeah, like that's gonna fucking.
The most they can get is 5 million, not
They'll get 5
31.
million. You get 5 million, maybe 8, 10 million at minimum. You're not getting fucking sick. You're not gonna get 31 million people. They tell you to fuck right off. Active personnel 184, reserve personnel 902, paramilitary 0, Air Force personnel 34,000, Army personnel 100,000, Navy 35, yearly mobilization 743. Mobilization 6 to 12 months, 370 recruits, air power. I love how they think comparing is France and Britain better.
So, is there anything else in the news?
What's lurking in your water? The risk of bacteria and microplastics.
Probably. Maybe.
I gotta lie. I don't know. This is completely random. But earlier, like, during the morning, when I was throwing something out, I felt like I heard something screaming. Like germs screaming, like, as I was like, I don't know.
Huh.
Who knows?
Interesting.
I don't know. It had mainly garbage in it, and just, I don't know.
Picture. Taxpayer. An old man on a bicycle. Government. A fat bloke eating a burger.
A what?
I'll send the picture in the chat. This was put on up by a fucking politician. On his fucking supposedly put up a politician's freaking.
You gonna send it in the chat?
Yep. I think I probably put it in the chat before, but there we go. It's accurate though.
It is, yeah, it's very accurate.
Really
I
is.
just saw how much money the state takes out off of me a month, and I quite honestly realised. I was questioning to myself, pondering to myself, what the fuck did you do to deserve £200 off me? What have you done? What have you done to deserve that money? You didn't work the hours. You didn't work the stress. You didn't take the stress. You didn't fucking do anything. You're entitled to 200. 200 out of a monthly wage. Like, God, this country's broken. So who do you guys think killed Kennedy?
You know.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah, you know. This is not a question. We know.
Yeah, we know.
We know. Yes, we all do.
Of course.
Israel. In revenge from Ben Gurion, because Kennedy fricking fried him a new one and got him fired simply because he was fucking trying to create nuclear weapons. Israel still created nuclear weapons, by the way, and they still have nuclear weapons. I wonder how those talks are with Trump.
Which one?
Donald.
Yeah,
I like
which
Israel.
talks are we talking about? Oh, yeah, okay.
Israel, especially effectively with nuclear weapons.
Trump. Speaking of which, apparently there's some other news about Trump. I shared it in the chat. Pretty much it says Trump downplayed the Epstein files and insists the Kennedy files are the ones they really wanted to see the most.
No, we wanted to see the Epstein ones. We wanted to know who the fucking pedos are. We already know who they are, but we want clarification on who they are.
Yeah, the Kennedy ones.
We already know who killed Kennedy. It was Jews. It is most likely Mossad because they wanted to get revenge for what Kennedy did to Ben Gurion. Because they worshipped that bloke like a fucking god. Those people, that country worshipped him like a god.
Now this can be either one of two things: either Trump is on that Epstein's files list, or he's just protecting, or
Most likely he's protecting people. Those people probably helped him get elected.
yep. So his allegiance is to those people.
Of course he is. Doesn't mean he's not going to do a couple of good things for the people, but
Obviously, like, people are saying hurrah for this guy who's protecting pedophiles.
But again, none of us knew that those names were going to get released.
That's true. Simply a distraction.
Yep.
And obviously we got our hopes up that, well, I mean, I didn't, but other people did.
I didn't. I knew there's not much coming out of it.
Why? What does he have to gain from? Why is Zelensky get invited to the G?
Because he's a very important man.
Is he fuck? He's a begging codger that wants to take our money. I love how those Canadians for
They're not trying to take our money. They're just trying to save our money.
Bull crap.
They know what's best, and we don't.
So who's the future of the Democrat Party now?
Barack
You're
Obama.
not gonna like this answer, Risk.
Is it better? Is that fucking?
Barack Obama.
He got 4% approval rating from the Democrats.
Anyways,
You've tied
Jame,
with the fucking the batshit crazy freaking House Speaker, like Betty
anyways,
Crockett or something like that. But she's off.
Jame, what's your answer? What will Risk not like?
A
You're gonna tell me it's
particular
AOC?
ding ding ding right on the bell.
It's between her and Hakeem Jeffries, ain't it?
Maybe, but I'm
Realistically,
certain
how the
AOC.
hell do they expect? Do we really expect the public to want to vote her in?
Probably better than Kamala.
Eric, after 2032, right? Borders change.
Oh.
More congressional seats will be going to Republican states like Texas, Florida, Nevada, Arizona. It'll make it even harder for the Democrats to even get elected. It's going to heavily favor the GOP because of people moving, which is going to be absolutely brilliant. We might even take some congressional seats away from New York, which would be even better. That's the most fun. That's the most fun part, right? Because your electoral base is quite fascinating, right? Because it depends typically on the movement of the voter. So if the voter moves to other states, and other states go get bigger populations and grow their population size, other countries' voting share in the country shrinks. Does Britain take that into account with our elections?
Well, how Britain does their elections, I think they redraw the borders amongst
Yeah, they do. They
constituencies.
change council areas and absorb them. Sometimes create new ones.
Yeah,
That's
so
kind
that
of what they're trying to do with the Labour. It's kind of what they're trying to do now. Like they want to suspend some elections so they can freaking turn certain districts into fucking Labour fucking strongholds by gerrymandering.
well, actually, what they're doing is trying to create combined local authorities,
Which will
where
be a Labour strongholds, because quite honestly, the cities will outpower the fucking rural areas, which, in my opinion, is evil.
well,
You're
most
basically
counties
denying
would
people a
likely
vote.
be Labour, but there's places like Kent that would most likely vote Conservative if it was to be a combined authority. That I'm certain of.
Yes, but doesn't those types of combined authorities give more power to the cities?
Yes, they do.
And vast majority of populations in cities tend to be very young and liberal.
Yes.
Even here.
Yes.
I suppose you could say the same question for certain parts in Scotland in the northeast. We're kind of under the same thing here. Where the fact is, like, we would never be able to we might get some seats that are conservative, right? But we'll never be able to flip the entire fucking thing to a different fucking party. Because they have that much stronghold on the cities. And the population size is just impossible. So now you get to the point where you freaking get so I suppose you get to the point where literally where you have certain states that are wanting to break away, right? Not break away, but join more conservative states because their votes are never going to get heard.
Yeah, just like with Oregon wanting to join
Yes,
Idaho.
Oregon and Sacramento and Greater Idaho. Do you think any of them will actually come through?
Maybe.
Also, didn't something similar happen during the Civil War?
Civil War.
The Civil War. You mean the one with the South and the West? Certain parts of those things broke away and formed new states.
Oh yeah, the Confederacy against the Union.
Yes.
Yes, I think
Something
that
similar
did
happened
happen,
there
yes.
before.
So is there anything else in the news?
That's us.